Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope so. Here we are on a very windy day in England with another selection of your email questions, queries and conundrums. So let's get underway with our first question for today. Is learning English just about reading books and learning grammar? This very interesting question comes from Carlos Oliveira from Sao Paulo in Brazil. I suppose the old-fashioned way of teaching English would have been mostly done with textbooks and what I call the parrot fashion of listening and repeating single words or short sentences. However, these days we have many options when it comes to how, when and where we study English. Fortunately, these days many schools are moving away from the traditional language teaching methods. Making lessons more interesting and encouraging students to learn while relaxing is becoming a popular way of teaching. This also happens to be the reason why my lessons are made the way they are. By utilizing video and sound via familiar internet technology such as online video streaming through sites like YouTube, students can relax while learning and hopefully have fun too. As I have said before, the more you see and hear, then the more you become used to hearing how English is being used. You will still need books to study with, and learning English will still involve reading. But at least there are more choices these days. So, click on a video whenever you want and get learning. Could you make a lesson about how to use English during a job interview? This question comes from Huang Mai in Vietnam. During any formal conversation, the words you use are very important. If you are attending a job interview, then you will need to have some idea of the questions you may be asked. Of course, you must reply to these questions in a clear and polite way. Common questions are: where did you hear about this job vacancy? What do you know about our company? Do you see this job as temporary or permanent? How long will you stay with us? Tell me about your previous experience. And probably the most important question of all, why do you want this job? I will be discussing this subject in more detail during a later full lesson, so keep a lookout for that. Do you have any social network pages? And if so, what is your official Facebook address? This question comes from Nicoletta in Italy. Well, there's good news and bad news in my answer to you. There is a Facebook page which has been set up by another person for those who are following my lessons, but it is not mediated by me. I do, however, have my own Facebook page where I occasionally post photos, videos and little bits of news concerning my day-to-day activities. However, I do not usually stay on there for very long. Although that does not mean that you cannot say hello to me if you see me logged on there. I'm always happy to have a chat if there is time. It took me a while, but I finally gave in. I have started Twittering. Yes, now I have a Twitter page too, just like all those Hollywood celebrities. If you want to follow me there and find out what I get up to when I'm not making my video lessons, then feel free to sign up and follow me. I also have a blog which gives you a little peep into my written world. It is more of a personal forum and a place for me to air some of my thoughts. Remember, you do not have to agree with me. After all, opinion and debate are what shape this world of ours. Why are there differences between British and American English? This question comes from Charlotte Soria in Uruguay. Well, this is one of those questions where whatever my answer is, someone somewhere will disagree. It is worth remembering that the English language was developed here in England and was later used in other parts of Britain, such as Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Although, from its earliest existence, the English language has changed considerably, but the biggest change came during the colonising of other countries by the English people. The English language was introduced to many different parts of the world during the 17th century, and this continued to expand and grow well into the 19th century. However, as time went on, each colonised country developed its own way of using English. There became various versions of English in use, though most of these were used in small localised areas. However, one variation did make a large impact on the way English was used away from its native land. The form of what we now know today as American English was created as a way of simplifying the language, especially words derived from the French language, such as colour, although it is worth noting that not all of the changed words come from the French language. For example, neighbour is an Old English word. In fact, some American English spelling has more in common with Old English than modern British English does. So over the years, the spread of English and the formation of new nations during that period caused the language to alter in many different ways. It is rather like growing a certain type of flower in a climate it is not used to. Over time it will alter and slowly adapt to its new environment. It would be fair to say that this is the reason why American English contains so many variations. But it is worth remembering that when comparing the two, the basic cores or foundations of both types of English are virtually identical. Before I wrap up and finish today's edition of Ask Mr. Duncan, I would like to say a special hello to Jimmy Chung in Hong Kong, who asks if I could make a lesson about sporting idioms. Well, that is a great suggestion, Jimmy, and another possible subject for a future lesson. Oh, by the way, yes, you are correct. We do not follow baseball here in England. Popular sports here include football, rugby and cricket. Hello to Hao Dang, who comes from Vietnam but now stays in Australia. One of my friends from China is now studying there too. Hao also asks if I have ever thought about visiting Vietnam. Well, I have never been there, but who knows, one day I may travel there. Finally, a big hello to Marco from Palmanova in Italy, who wants to say a big thanks to me for my lessons. Thank you, Marco, and stay happy. That is all from me for today. Keep a lookout for that email address. It will be popping up very soon. This is Mr. Duncan in England saying thank you for asking me. And ta-ta for now. Mm.